welcome to another episode of Fort Triumph with Ungainly Titans. So this is more or less immediately where we left off in the prologue when we had rescued Krita Skull Splitter. Leandra had rescued her, and we now run into the two new members of our party. So we have our little chat, and this is a kind of a wilderness map that connects to different areas. So obviously they're going to connect the different chapters to different areas using this kind of global map. It's kind of straight out of, I don't know, Baldur's Gate or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I dawdled around and explored bits that look shiny and stuff, and therefore it took longer to get to the village than I needed to have done. So I'm not sure if I went and rushed immediately to the village and ignored all the shiny, twinkly stuff on the map, whether that would make any difference to the scenario. I certainly remember seeing at least one scenario where at least one villager was rescued. And I do know that, as far as I can tell, this scenario, the layout of the village is exactly the same each time you go in. There's a certain amount of randomness in the whole lot. I'm not sure how much randomness there is in the behaviour of the bad guys. More playthroughs, I suppose, will be able to let me know how much randomness and how much variation there are in if you go back over the same scenarios again and again. I don't see myself doing it immediately. There's just too many other things that I haven't looked at really, and I want to get involved in. So we have a little bit of dialogue at the start to kind of set the scene. So now we know roughly where the bad guys are relative to us, or at least some of them. They're off sort of in that direction, but you got to get in between these walls. And I'm not sure if you can get over these walls if I picked, say, went down the wrong side of the walls and approached it from the other side. Again, something to determine through exploration. And also, you don't want to get people isolated. That's usually what used to get me wiped out in UFO, was that I would extend too widely without sufficient support for my searching the map to make first contact with the aliens. Now, one of the things I have noticed is that unlike UFO, at least so far, or at least in the current iterations of the game, the bad guys do not immediately get a kind of reaction move to spotting one of my units, one of my little my characters. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that you have to complete your old party move before the enemy get to move. So Overwatch can be a bit less. It's harder to set up in some ways, because one of the things in UFO is that in XCOM everybody has a ranged option, so everybody gets to do Overwatch. So you can move a unit up and put them into Overwatch mode at the beginning. The other thing as well is that it seems to me that your attacks, if you attack at the start of your turn, you get a more powerful 2 action point attack, but you don't get the option of a 1 action point and then a move, which is again a bit of a problem. Just something to be aware of. It would be nice sometimes to be able to attack and then move rather than move and attack. The interactable terrain stuff was probably something I didn't make enough use of as well. That brace that I put them into there gives them essentially damage resistance. Now they've decided to target the wizard really, but now they've triggered the Overwatch from the back. The Overwatch range actually isn't great. I get fooled once in the game here, badly underestimating the range at which Overwatch works. So we've got choices here. He's got a guy in front of him. He's taking some damage, but he's not too badly off. And we see here we've 6 to 7 damage, 100% strike action, 2 action points. I'd have preferred to be able to hit him maybe for less damage, because I didn't need to do that much to kill him, or at least have a good chance of it, and then maybe move directly to the corner of the building so I had a better cover. That sort of thing. Now where to go with the next people. Again, you don't want to expose the character. I could move up beside the goblin, and that goblin then wouldn't be able to fire. But the other guy then could pop out behind him and shoot me, and there may be more further back that I don't know about, that I haven't triggered yet. That sort of thing is also a possibility. So, I'm going to make a direct attack here because I have an 85% chance of hitting. But I don't. Sometimes the 85% chance is whiff. And this guy comes around here, and this is where I'm saying about being able to move the paladin. If I could have moved her into better cover, she'd be better shape now. And I make a second, I see the treasure chest, and I think, right, I can go up, I can search the treasure chest, because that's generally not an action point cost. So I search the treasure chest, I find whatever's in it, and then I go and kick, because I thought I could kick the treasure chest, that would kick the barrel, and then the barrel would kick the box. But it didn't work out, the treasure chest bounced back and actually injured my guy. So I've left myself in a lot, and stunned her. So that left her in a worse position than I was when I started out. But you know, you learn. You learn by your mistakes. I've changed the order in which I did things here, and I move crit up to the corner, and I brace, and then I get to choose to move the wizard. And she can't do anything from there. There's no effective, useful thing. I know the two remaining goblins are over here, so I might as well move her behind the streetlight. Now Solana's taken more attention because she's still in the open, and I didn't get her into any kind of effective cover, and I didn't do any damage to the goblins, which was a bit of a pity. So we brace her, no, we kick that again because there's a goblin on the other side. This one will work because I've done this before. This is part of the tutorial, and it actually stuns the goblin, but he's still alive. So I move the ranger up and take the shot. Or I don't move the ranger up, just take the shot from where I am. Another, well, we've hit anyway, and we've done more damage. And lightning bolt from there. No, we just go into Overwatch. And Krita can get right up beside the goblins, so she should be able to make an attack with her claw, and she levels up. As you level up, you get more powers. I don't think the same powers appear every time. You generally get an option of 2 powers, and then you pick it, and you can't really complete, you can't move on to the next character, or you can't complete the round without actually doing the level up. And sometimes it's easy to not notice you have a level up waiting. So we have to continue on with our with the exercise. We move Ivy up there and see if we can get a shot on this guy. Finish him off. And he generates a an Ivy levels up, and he generates a whatchamacallit, a health potion, and Garrison Crunchy Bounds decides that he's had enough of this and he's out of here. And then follows the critique of his bad guy monologue. You know, it's not a good bad guy monologue, as bad guy monologues go. Again, the thing would be much better with sound effects or with actual voice acting. And don't ask me to do voice acting. I'm pretty crap at it. In fact, I barely seem to have a voice at the moment. I'm actually having, I don't know, not flu. I don't have anything like it. Just, I think it's pollen and stuff in the summertime. Cut grass sets me off. Cut grass and house dust are my allergies, which is a problem when you're living in elderly, quite dusty houses. So we move Leandra up there to good cover, and I will set her on Overwatch just in case somebody springs out of the woodwork. Krita we can move up, we brace, she's still got enough health left. Ivy's in pretty good shape. But you can't just walk out of there. She's got to go back around the house. You can't hop over the barrels. I think it's a bit odd, but no, that's the way they're doing their thing. She has a new ability, so we'll give her the smoke bomb. It might be useful at some point. And Solora has to be put somewhere safe because she's got only one hit point. As somebody sneezes in her general direction, she will die. So that is as far as Ivy can get, because she's go all the way around the back and get around again to the street light. I wonder what's in those lanterns. I mean, I can never imagine a quasi-medieval village going to the bother of burning oil and street lamps. You have the whole business of topping up the lights and everything. And candles are actually relatively expensive too. There were better things to be doing with animal fats than making candles. Mostly cooking with them or eating with them. So, Garbark the Terrible is trying to be all bad guy and disgusting, and it's difficult to say whether Krita is upset about his decoration plans or the effect it's going to have on the villagers. So, exit 3 villagers, and Garbark then says exit Garbark, and off he goes into the Wild Blue Yonder, or at least the place you have to go to finish the mission. You make it to that little pulsing yellow box and it's game over. Presumably, if you made it without interacting with the remaining goblins, you would finish the mission anyway. You just have a couple of surviving goblins in the village. What effect that would have, I don't know. So we move Krita up, we've triggered another goblin, and these guys actually are able to move without triggering Overwatch because they're too far away. And they're able to flank Krita. 2 of them are flanking Krita, and that's going to be bad news. The bit that really annoyed me was the fact that they were out of range of Overwatch, and none of them triggered an Overwatch. So, that's another thing to keep an eye on. What are the ranges of the various things? Now we've got to get the remainder of our team up and into position. So again, Solana has to be protected. Ivy can get up to a more aggressive position, and we'll go Overwatch from there, I think. I'm just not sure what I'm looking at or looking around for. The wizard. Where do we put the wizard? We'll be fairly cautious with the wizard because she hasn't got a lot of hit points remaining. And we put her into Overwatch as well. Now, I could play the safe one with Krita's Skull Splitter and go around to the back of the house, but I thought, right, I will instead go next to one of the goblins. Because, as far as I can tell, if you're right beside an archer or a ranged attacker, they can't use their ranged weapon. And if they've only got ranged weapons, well, then they have to step out of your zone of control, and that can trigger an opportunity attack. However, the 2 remaining archers can attack her, seems like, without triggering an Overwatch either. But this guy moved, and he's triggered Overwatch, and he has died for his efforts. And Krita's still up. I mean, she's in better shape than Solana. Or Solora. Yeah, Solora. So, Solora goes around. We'll keep her kind of safe. She shouldn't be in a huge amount of danger there. And if we can move the rest up into positions where we can get good Overwatch or ranged cover on her, then, you know, again, the risk would be greatly mitigated, and she might just use her as bait. Now, Ivy doesn't have a good shot from there. Well, not good percentage chance to hit, so we put Ivy in Overwatch. Let's see if Leandra can get into a better or more advantageous position, and not immediately. She does have an action potion. So we move her up to there, and we take the action potion, and we put her there perhaps. And then we use the whirlwind. Now I was hoping the whirlwind would knock one goblin into the other, which would damage both, and then it would trigger Leandra's or Chris's area. Oh, sorry. Yeah, zone of control, opportunity attack, but instead it actually triggered Ivy's Overwatch, which is just as good, really. Crit is going to have to deal with the goblin in front of her using her standard, well, her 2 action point attack. I wonder, can he make kick as an attack? I must check that. Anyway, all sorts of things to learn. Still a lot to learn about this system. Leandra has taken a hit there from that last goblin, and where to put, who am I trying to move now? Solara. Again, same problem applies. We want to kind of use her as, ideally if we could draw people towards her so that they could trigger the Overwatchers. That'd be fine, as long as she's not at any great risk of being actually shot at or attacked in any fashion. So that is Ivy in Overwatch, and yeah, we want to move her somewhere as well. Probably there's a good spot. Put her on Overwatch also. And now it is Krita, and she has, well, multiple possibilities really. If we go down there, well, we can take the healing potion. That will restore our health and give us some other options as well. Because we have a bit of health, then we can actually take a hit, so we can go into more aggressive positions. Now that we're all lined up, it's the goblin's turn, and Chris actually takes the hit despite, well, she had only partially covered. Okay, Solana. Yeah, can't get up close. We won't take the risk. Get you to there and just fire bow attack. Well, now you could do better than that. So now what to do? If we go there, we have a bit of cover and we can go into Overwatch. If we had the whirlwind, we could probably use it to try and knock the tree down in the goblin. Now it charges the advanced level up ability that Krita got when she leveled up, but she can only go in straight lines. Obstacles don't mean a thing. Well, presume enough of them would, but she can power her way through a certain amount of obstacles with the charge attack, but she needs to be on a straight line to the target. So there's no angling or moving sideways or doing anything like that on a charge attack. It's a straight line attack to the target. That does quite a bit of damage and is not slowed down or stopped by lesser or low level obstacles. There is, however, a lot to be said for just walking up to the goblin and smacking him in the face with the claws or whatever it is that she uses as a weapon. So now we're in the final stage where the end area is in sight. Didn't quite know what to expect from started. There was always the possibility there might be some more goblin resistance in and around the end area. So I was being a bit careful here, where I probably needn't have been. So moving everybody up, I think I was just overly cautious here that there was no need for me to be doing this, that no further enemies were going to spawn, and there was no, certainly not from inside the exit zone. I know it happens in XCOM. They can spawn elsewhere, reinforcements can arrive and cut some of your units off from your final retreat and stuff like that, so it can become quite problematic, the final approach to the extraction zones, you would say, in XCOM, but here it's the exit at the back end of the village. Leandra moves up, enters the exit area, and that triggers the end scene. So we've got a little bit of dialogue, everybody rushes up, marches into the exit box, and then you get a load screen transition to the next area. You have a couple of areas in the chapter, and once you have that done, you have a chapter done. So it is quite straightforward that way. Doesn't seem to be anything particular or special about once you reach the final area and once you've eliminated all the goblins, you're pretty much home and dry. Whether they start changing things or allowing more stuff to happen and reinforcements and stuff to turn up out of the blue is probably for later development and probably at higher levels. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Click that thumbs up button below. If you have not already done so, hit subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications of my future videos. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.